Archangel Michael says, something was done behind your back, and it was not meant for your good. A photo of you was taken, not with love, but with wicked intent, and placed at a sacred site where your name was whispered in jealousy. The moment your picture entered that temple, a secret plan was released into the spiritual realm to delay your progress and block your favor. They thought if they offered your image silently, they could redirect your fate. They believed binding prayers would wrap around your path and crush your breakthrough. But the heavens did not sleep, and what they tried to bury is now rising like a storm of light. Your photo was not just taken, it was spoken over. They placed offerings near it, they lit incense beside it, and they called your name with envy dripping from their tongues. They thought no one would know, but the fire of the Spirit picked up their whispers and delivered them to the throne of justice. Someone close to the group even smiled when you passed them the next day. They had knowledge of what was done but pretended as if nothing had changed. Yet in the spiritual world, everything had shifted, and it shifted in your favor. Type Amen to get blessing 333. The moment they laid your picture down, the atmosphere began to respond. But what they didn't realize was your soul was covered in divine protection. Even as they plotted, divine light wrapped around your essence like fire in a glass chamber. Archangel Michael says, this was not the first time they tried. But this was the most dangerous attempt because it involved sacred ground and manipulated energy. Yet every single spiritual dart sent toward you has reversed and is heading back to sender. You were meant to feel sudden loss. They wanted your sleep to turn restless, your plans to crumble, your confidence to vanish. But instead, everything they buried is being unearthed by divine hands and returned to you multiplied. Type Amen to get blessing 707. Your image carries light, and the forces they summoned could not hold it. When they tried to call your destiny down, they found it too heavy to contain. Your energy burned their hands invisibly, and since that day, some of them have been experiencing strange disruptions in their own homes. Someone who was part of it is already starting to dream about you. They see your face not in fear, but in glowing glory. They are realizing now, they tried to curse the chosen one, and instead invited chaos into their lives. There is a name that was mentioned near your photo, someone you thought had moved on. This name was uttered with bitterness and linked to your downfall, but they forgot something essential. Your name is carved in light, and no temple ritual can change what is destined. Type Amen to get blessing 1444. A black cloth was used during the ritual. Something was written and placed under your photo, and candles were lit to lock your opportunities. But one of the candles fell before it could burn to completion, and that interruption has unraveled every wicked thread they tried to spin. You may have felt low energy, sudden discouragement, or miscommunication right after that day. You may have thought you were just tired. But your spirit was fighting an invisible attack, and the victory is already sealed. Archangel Michael says, I have stood near your name and defended it in places where your feet never walked. I have spoken in places you were not invited but where your face was shown with intention to harm. No weapon that entered that temple shall prosper against you. One woman's eyes burned with envy. She smiled during photos with you in the past but turned them into ammunition when your back was turned. Now she watches from a distance as the same blessings she tried to steal multiply in your life. Type Amen to get blessing 858. A wind is shifting, and your name is rising in places far from that dark temple. People you haven't met yet are speaking about you in rooms you will soon enter. What was meant to silence your journey has amplified your calling. They thought the temple was the last place they could use to block you. But that temple has now become the ground where judgment begins, not against you, but against their plan. The incense they burned was never accepted, and the offering they gave was rejected before it even touched the altar. Archangel Michael says, your image is surrounded by a force they cannot name. Your life holds a prophetic signature, and even if they write against it, the ink turns invisible in the hands of time. What is yours is spiritually sealed. Now, a wave of divine reversal is falling upon those involved. Some will begin to lose what they took from you, not through violence but by divine law. You, however, will start to gain in areas you thought were closed permanently. Type Amen to get blessing 2220. Your face carries a divine mark. That's why they couldn't forget it. That's why even after trying to remove your light, it haunted them. The air around your image refused to darken, and the more they tried, the brighter your aura became. They created their own confusion, because instead of delay, they activated the power within you. One of them has since fallen sick. Another has had 3 failed plans in a row. These are not coincidences, they are signs that the ritual has recoiled back onto its senders. Type Amen to get blessing 411. You, however, are walking into a season of favor. Unexpected money, unplanned opportunities, and divine recommendations are coming your way. And it's all because the heavens saw you, even when you didn't see what was done in the shadows. Your success will now echo louder because they tried to mute it. The temple they used will become a place where your name is lifted, not cursed. A turnaround so strong is about to take place that even your enemies will hear of it. Archangel Michael says, I have released angels to go ahead of you and cleanse the road they tried to stain. You will not walk where they hoped you'd fall. You will fly where they hoped you'd stay trapped. A major announcement tied to your name is being prepared. Even your photo, the one they used against you, will now be the one used to honor you. Type Amen to get blessing 1999. They underestimated the divine contract over your life. They thought rituals could override divine decisions. They forgot who your soul belongs to. You are stepping into unshakable favor. Nothing can stop what's meant to rise now. You will be celebrated, even by those who never supported you. One of them will attempt to reach out again, do not entertain them. Their smile will be familiar, but their intention unchanged. They will act like they miss you, but it's the glow around you that disturbs them. Type Amen to get blessing 777. A man connected to this spiritual plot is already under heavy spiritual discomfort. He is regretting his involvement but is too afraid to confess. But the time is coming when everything hidden will surface. You may hear your name spoken in circles you thought forgot you. But don't be surprised, it's the prophecy of reversal coming alive. Those who try to bury you will accidentally advertise you. Every single candle, incense, chant, and word used against you is now powerless. What they offered in secret is being returned in public. What they meant for destruction is now laying the foundation of your next season. Type Amen to get blessing 1666. Be prepared. Your photo will appear again, but this time not in a temple of envy, but in places of recognition. In posters, media, or invitations, your image will now shine with divine endorsement. Archangel Michael says, I have broken the chains placed around your path. I have erased your name from the book of sabotage. And I have placed it inside the scroll of honor. You were meant to rise, even when others plotted your fall. The rituals, the jealousy, the manipulation, they are all over. You are being lifted higher because you were targeted. Your destiny is no longer just surviving. It is roaring, expanding, glowing. The light in you has broken through what others use temples to stop. Type Amen to get blessing 344. Every time they tried to attack you spiritually, your soul answered back with thunder. They couldn't explain why things in their life began to shift after touching your image. But you don't need to explain what is divine, it simply unfolds. There will be a moment soon when someone confesses what they did with your photo. It will come not from guilt, but from pressure, because spiritually they cannot bear it anymore. And when they do, you will not be shaken, because you already won. Your voice will be heard in the places they silenced you. Your vision will succeed in areas they locked. And your peace will overflow in homes they tried to disturb. Type Amen to get blessing 1212. Let the one who lit candles against you now see you shine brighter than any flame they could light. Let the woman who once laughed as your image was placed on the altar now witness your name glorified in places she cannot reach. Your journey is not just protected, it is ascending. Your past has been redeemed, your present is guarded, and your future is unstoppable. The spiritual manipulation is broken. Archangel Michael says, they took your photo to a temple hoping you would fail. But instead, the spiritual realm has marked you with unbreakable favor. You will walk into rooms where even your enemies must clap. Type Amen to get blessing 1010. This message is sealed with truth and cannot be revoked. You are walking out of sabotage and into spiritual acceleration. What was meant to end you has ignited you. Be ready, your next chapter is one they never saw coming. They took your photo hoping for your fall, but heaven kept the original light that belongs only to you. It is time the world sees what cannot be buried. You are not what they tried to define with rituals and candles. You are chosen, and no temple built by hands with jealousy in their hearts can shift what the heavens have declared. Their whispers against your name were shattered by the thunder of your destiny. There was a mirror placed beside your photo that night, meant to reflect harm and confusion toward you. But instead, the mirror cracked in the middle of their setup, breaking the cycle before it could begin. That mirror became the symbol of reversal, and the energy of return was activated instantly. One of the people present that night has since lost their voice in critical moments. Another began forgetting important things. These signs are not random, they are spiritual consequences for attempting to touch what was never theirs to touch. The more they try to mention your name in places of harm, the more elevation will follow you. You are stepping into a time when everything stolen will come back, not quietly but like a flood bursting through spiritual locks. Type Amen to get blessing 2929. They underestimated the divine surveillance over your life. Even before they reached the temple, your spirit had already alerted your guardian angels. And from the moment they placed your photo down, the countdown of judgment began for them. The herbs they used to call your name with bitterness have now dried into dust. The oil they poured as offering now stains their hands in shame. You, however, walk away untouched, unbothered, and divinely accelerated. Archangel Michael says, I warned them before they made the move. I stood at the edge of the altar and reminded them who you are. But blinded by jealousy, they moved forward, and sealed their own fate. You will begin to see divine compensation unfold. A property deal delayed will suddenly be released. A financial opportunity that passed you by will come back around, stronger than before. Type Amen to get blessing 999. One person took a copy of your image and kept it even after the ritual. They thought keeping it close would give them power over you. But instead, it has become a source of torment for them in the night. They dream of you standing in light, while they stumble in shadows. They feel the presence of something greater around you, and it scares them. Even if they never admit it, they now know you are spiritually protected. A second ritual was planned, this time involving a stranger paid to finish what they started. But that stranger has now fallen ill and backed away. The energy they encountered when trying to focus on you was too strong, too bright, too heavenly. What they intended as a secret takedown has become a loud testimony. Your name is not fading. Your name is echoing across timelines, contracts, and blessings that are finding their way to you even now. Type Amen to get blessing 1777. There will be a day soon when one of them accidentally confesses. Not because they plan to, but because spiritual fire will press them until the truth falls from their lips. That confession will come at a divine hour, and when it does, the final locks will break. They wanted you to cry, but instead, they will see you crowned. They wished you confusion, but clarity will now lead your every step. They expected your downfall, but what's rising now is beyond their reach. Archangel Michael says, I intercepted their darkness and replaced it with light. You were never alone. Not when the photo was taken. Not when it was placed on that altar. Not even when the ritual began. Your soul cried out, and your cry was heard. Type Amen to get blessing 3030. Even in silence, your spirit speaks volumes. Even in darkness, your aura sends signals of power. You are divinely coded and spiritually armored. That photo they took now holds energy they didn't expect. It holds your resilience, your divine favor, your prophetic assignment. It reflects back to them everything they lack. And that's why they're so unsettled. The place where they tried to bind you will soon become the place they must pass by in fear. That temple will witness a reversal in energy so massive, the walls will vibrate. Their spiritual hands will not stop what heaven has already launched. You are about to walk into places where your name was once blocked. You'll receive messages from people who suddenly want to reconnect, not out of love, but because they see your light glowing now. Type Amen to get blessing 121. There's a contract in the spirit that now holds your name. A written declaration of favor, sealed in divine ink, unerasable by hands of man or spirits of envy. That contract supersedes everything they did with your photo. You are not a victim, you are a vessel of breakthrough. And your footsteps are now guided by divine intelligence that bypasses every trap set by them. Archangel Michael says, I am placing a shield around your home. Anyone who approaches with wicked intent will be spiritually blinded and turned away. No harm will cross your threshold again. One of the candles they used has now spiritually attached itself to the person who lit it. They will feel the weight of their actions in their body, in their home, in their bank account. Type Amen to get blessing 818. You, however, are free. Not only free, but rising. Not only rising, but reigniting. Expect a major reversal in the next 14 days. Expect an unexpected opportunity to arrive through someone who previously ignored you. Expect your name to be mentioned in a new circle of favor. The gatekeepers they consulted spiritually are now being silenced. The priest or spiritualist they met will soon fall under scrutiny for their involvement. Their ritual is exposed before heaven, and consequences are now unfolding. The very breath they used to speak against you will now be taken back in regret. And your breath will be used to declare victory, abundance, and celebration. Type Amen to get blessing 50-50. From this point forward, they will fear to even look at your photo again. Because the same image they tried to curse now radiates divine judgment. You are untouchable by lower forces. You are no longer walking in silence. You are walking in sound, divine sound, announcing your arrival. Announcing your favor. Announcing your divine retribution. Someone who tried to stop you will now see their own promotion blocked. They will remember your face in moments they feel stuck. And they will realize, what they meant for you, they handed to themselves. This is not revenge. This is divine correction. And it cannot be undone. Type Amen to get blessing 9999. Be ready for dreams that reveal hidden things. Be ready for signs around your home, feathers, flickers of light, moments of spiritual stillness, that confirm the angels are moving. Be ready to feel peace you can't explain. What was meant to tie you down has now fueled your rise. What was whispered in jealousy is now shouted in glory. Your destiny is marching forward like a flame that refuses to be blown out. Archangel Michael says, this was the final attempt they could try. And now that it's failed, a new cycle begins for you. A cycle of divine clarity, unstoppable favor, and irreversible blessings. They took your photo to bury you. But heaven used it as the seed of your next chapter. Type Amen to get blessing 4411. That temple no longer holds any power over your name. In fact, it is now echoing with the energy of reversal, returning every single intention, chant, and whisper back to those who conspired. You were never theirs to toy with. Someone among them has started seeing visions, flashes of light, moments of confusion, waking in fear. This is the weight of divine consequence resting on their spiritual door. They will not know peace until they confront the truth and step away from the darkness. The oil they poured to seal your downfall is now symbolic of your rise. That oil did not anoint your failure, it anointed your elevation. And from that very moment, your energy began aligning with divine increase. Archangel Michael says, I sent winds into that temple the moment they set your photo down. Those winds have scattered their words. Their intentions will never take root, because I have uprooted them from the soil of your future. Type Amen to get blessing 1017. There was a moment recently when you felt a strange stillness, as if the world paused for just a few seconds. That was not imagination. That was the moment your divine shield activated in full strength. They will see you rise and they will be forced to pretend they always supported you. But your soul already knows the truth, it recognizes the shift, the betrayal, and the blessing. You don't have to react. You just have to rise. They underestimated how protected you really are. Even in silence, your angels move. Even in stillness, the heavens prepare your path. There is a large financial turnaround about to land in your life. What was once delayed is now cleared. The same temple where they buried your photo will never bury your light. Type Amen to get blessing 2323. Your energy is too pure to be manipulated. Your journey is too sacred to be altered. What they tried to rewrite, heaven erased. One of them will try to return with a gift or an apology. Do not be moved by their words, watch their energy. You will feel the truth before it's spoken. A man connected to the ritual did not act alone. A woman instructed him and watched from a distance. She carries the deepest jealousy, and she has tried to spiritually copy your identity. But no ritual can clone purpose. No altar can recreate divine uniqueness. Your essence is irreplaceable, untouchable, unstoppable. Type Amen to get blessing 4114. The ground where your photo touched has now turned into holy fire. Anyone trying to step on it again will be scorched spiritually. You don't have to defend yourself, heaven is already doing it on your behalf. Archangel Michael says, I blocked their final attempt. Their plan has ended. The invisible warfare has been won. You may not see everything with your physical eyes, but your spirit knows. The weight that lifted from your shoulders last night? That was the release of their last rope. From here, you are free to walk into what they tried to delay. Contracts, invitations, relocations, promotions, reconciliations, everything that belongs to you will now flood in. Type Amen to get blessing 3000. They will soon start to forget the power they once thought they had over you. Their memory of controlling your steps will fade as you walk into places they can't even enter. They will realize, your photo was never theirs to curse. There's a spiritual reversal that began the moment your name was spoken in innocence again. Someone is now praying for you in secret. Someone who once doubted you is now repenting silently. Your image is now seen not as a threat, but as a mirror. It shows people what they lack. And instead of hating you, some will now desire to learn from your strength. This is divine realignment. You were never meant to be hidden. You were born to shine. Type Amen to get blessing 811. Your house will soon feel different, lighter, clearer, safer. That's not just coincidence. That's because the invisible chains around your progress have broken. Every attack connected to your photo has been spiritually refunded back to its sender. And every dream they tried to delay is now arriving with double speed. Archangel Michael says, I have commanded the wind to shift in your favor. You are now walking in the current of divine victory. No more backward steps. No more hidden interference. The same people who once joined hands against you will now turn against each other. Confusion has already entered their circle. What they used to be united in, your downfall, has now become the wedge that splits them. Type Amen to get blessing 122. They are watching you, silently, secretly. But this time, it's not with confidence. It's with fear. Because they know the ritual failed, and your blessings are now glowing visibly. The temple will never be the same. The energy they called on refused to obey. And your image is now locked in a realm they cannot touch. Your name is being carried into greater places. Your steps are being blessed by hands you don't even know. And what you lost during the season of sabotage is now being returned with divine interest. Be still. Stay ready. Move forward. Type Amen to get blessing 1717. You were targeted because your future intimidates them. They knew you were chosen, even before you did. They sensed your rise, and it scared their shadowed hearts. But no picture, no prayer, no altar can undo the fire inside your soul. You carry the frequency of heaven. And what carries heaven cannot be handled by hands of jealousy. Archangel Michael says, I've cleared the last path before you. The war is over. Now comes the reward. Watch what happens in the next 72 hours. You'll receive a message, a gesture, or a sign that confirms everything said here. And when it arrives, step forward boldly. Type Amen to get blessing 4444. Let it be known from this moment on, no one can use your photo for evil ever again. It now belongs to the realm of divine fire. Any hand that touches it with wrong intention will be spiritually scorched. Your light is no longer dimmable. Your presence is no longer deniable. Your purpose is no longer delayable. The photo that was taken to ruin you has become the signature of your spiritual rise. That image has now been claimed by divine power, and it will never again be used to harm. You are the storm they didn't expect. You are the light they failed to extinguish. And now, your unstoppable destiny is unfolding, louder than their silence. Type Amen to get blessing 33333.